let's come back for the network to your net worth. Let me explain something to you. All y'all got a purpose. I'm actually changed my angle because I needed you to hear me what I'm saying here. Y'all got a purpose. Once you determine that purpose and start making plans, you start building that thing out. You start developing that thing. Some of y'all ain't married. I'm gonna let this sit there for a minute. Y'all not married. Some of y'all feel like your life ain't even worth getting married. And some of you are married, but you ain't married to the right person because you don't know what your purpose is. One or two things is going to happen to you in this situation, and I'm going to explain it to you clearly. I have to say it. I'm sorry. Because when you start moving towards your purpose, if you're in a relationship, that relationship might fall apart. I'm going to give you that warning right here. That relationship might very well fall apart. Every individual that actually started walking in their purpose, and right now that I know that followed it through with the fullness of the gung-ho-ness of who they are, anybody that was in those relationships, guess what? The spouse that they had at the time, they ain't got that spouse no more. That's not the spouse they with. But baby, the spouse that they ended up with. Because they were willing to let go of that person. Some of y'all holding on to somebody that you ain't even supposed to be with right now. Some of you, there is a person that you with right now, and because y'all got kids, y'all got what have you, and that person is dedicated to you, you gonna come into this kind of level of realization of what kind of business you want to develop, and you gonna have that support system because that person that you are with does have the support system to support you through this process. It's gonna be one. It's gonna be a process, but if they willing to stand with you, some of them gonna stand with you. Some of them gonna stand with you until you just about ready to get what you getting ready to get. And guess what? They're gonna walk away from you because it took too long. If you ever seen the movie Arconomy, that's the perfect example of a bunch of people, all that kind of stuff. Is a mess in that movie. But and some people, they know where you go and they try to hold on to you because they don't want to be let go. My other channel talks about that stuff. I'm gonna let that be right here. But I'm gonna go to this capacity and level. Some of the people that you're with can't carry you into that next season, and you're gonna have to let them go, even if you're married to them. But they my children's mother, father. They may be. And I'm not telling you, hear me right now and hear me clearly. It's not the fact that you sitting up there saying, I'm going to get a divorce from this person. Don't you ever tell no damn body I done told you to divorce your spouse. Your circumstance will determine whether you stay with this person or not. Because as you grow, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, start trying to grow these creative fields and stuff, these people aren't going to be able to stay with you because they can't hang with the weight of what you're building. And you need to let them go. They might be able to come back later. You got to pray about that. And I'm serious. You got to pray about that because the person that you connect yourself with, if you made it and they weren't with you, if they want to come latch on to you, now that you done got it together, be very careful of that because the person you let latch on to you now will be the one that will siphon away all that money. Hear me hear what I'm saying. They'll siphon all that money that you earned and built that business with because you're trying to impress them because now that you got it together. Don't do that. What did I tell you? Some of these people done left the people that they were with because that was the person that was holding them up. They found themselves, found their purpose, determined what it was that they was building, built that thing out. And what was the point that I was making in the previous video? I ran into a dude while I was at the conference that was sweet on me. Some of you, your spouse is in that grouping of people at the conference that you're supposed to go to that you wouldn't be going to because you haven't figured out what your purpose is and you don't know where you're supposed to be at and you don't know what you're doing. Your spouse may be at that event, but you ain't there because you haven't figured out what your purpose is. You don't know. You can't consciously stream together a sentence in order to do a pitch to tell anybody what your purpose is. You don't know what your purpose is. You ain't got no purpose. I hope that by the time you reach this point in the video series that you figured out what your purpose is. But some set of y'all, you are married. You're going to build this thing out and your spouse going to leave you. There's another set of y'all, your spouse is going to travel with you through this process. That's a good spouse. But there's a secondary set of y'all that spouse will travel with you the whole time you with this person. They're going to argue you. They're going to fight you. They're going to siphon your money away from you. They're going to do... I'm going to need you to pay attention to that and leave them alone. That's the one that you need to let go of. Because you're trying to carry them someplace that they can't be carried to. And you need to let that person go. Because there's somebody better out there for you. I'm not saying don't divorce nobody unless you know in your fullness of spirit. But some things make themselves obvious that when you start growing, if your spouse start acting a fool, let it go. Because every person that I know that grew into something and they got it today, they had to let go of the one that was the hindrance. Grow, build, develop, let go of people, and even if it is your spouse, that's not helping you. If this person ain't advising you, this person ain't helping you, they're sitting like a rock in the midst of what you're building and becoming a hindrance. They don't even show potential. And then they start doing silly little stuff behind your back. Baby, let it go. I'm going to need you to focus on that purpose and that man that's actually supposed to be next to you. That woman that's actually supposed to be next to you. You're going to slide right in that spot. But you got to make that spot for them. You got to move out the way. Anything that's sitting in that spot. Okay? And then you need to spiritually be in tune and acute. So that you know that as you're building this thing that you're building, you don't want to connect to somebody that's going to tear it apart. And you need to be highly discerning because some people will attach themselves to you because they see that you're growing and they will want to tear it down after you build it. But for some of you, if you build it right, the right person will come along and be that networking connection and be that assistance to you. Not because you was looking, but because they see a value in you. And they also see how hard you're working. And they're the ones that see you for who you truly are. And they're like, let me help you. Go watch the movie Apple Mortgage Cake. That woman was separating from somebody. And by the end of the movie, she was with somebody new. But that's usually what happens in movies. Because she knew how to let go. And as she was growing and shifting, and she grew fast throughout that film. The person that could carry her on the level that she was going to, he's the one that stepped up next to her. Some of you got to deal with that. Because some of you are called to some high level places. Some of you are going to be, my little business is going to be serving some folks in high level places. I was watching a program on MPT the other day and it was talking about a woman that was a chef. She ended up serving the president. What you can do with a chef's license that you get in New York or someplace like that. Get your safety and sanitation chef license. Blah, blah. I have people that open multi-million-dollar businesses in Vegas. Oh, wait, what? Mm. You don't ever know where you're going to end up. And the people that you're going to connect with along the way are going to help you, lift you, and get you to places that you didn't even know that you could have the possibility. I told you at the beginning of, I think it was a previous video. Come on now. Get yourself positioned. Because you never know who's going to come up alongside you and say, let me help you. Who's your helper going to be? Who's your network going to be? And let me tell you this right now. The network that you started with when you started and you ain't have nothing, when you start making something for yourself and you get on a steady clip, you're going to have a completely different network. I remember hearing Will Smith say years ago, who's the 5 closest people to you? What do they reflect? Some people you're going to have to move to the back. Some people you're going to have to shift. This is why I have a harmony chart. I have a whole harmony chart, okay? But that partner that's standing next to you, that's going to be at your side, that better be the one that's going to assist you, support you, and the one that's got the acumen and the ability to walk with you, you're going to flow. Some of the best people, I don't care how many business people that I have come into contact with, and I've looked at how their businesses grew, whether it's an actual person that I knew physically or somebody that I observed, none of them started blowing up until they came into contact with their right partner. All of them. It was the right partner. I'm talking about marital partner. They started dating and then they ended up married and their business blew up. Oh, whoa, wait, what? Some of y'all got to get to that level where your business is flowing and you're going to meet that person. They're going to slide up so quick. You're going to be like, what? Make sure that the person that slides up quick ain't a counterfeit. That's all I got to say to you, okay? Pray about that person. If you see signs, I just gave you a myriad of signs. Pay close attention. All right, I'm going to come back in the next one.